And we are back with another episode of Diffusion Podcast. Today we got Daniel Cukier, the founder of Web3 Dev, a community dedicated to shaping the next generation of the internet developers. Daniel, welcome. And why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself?
Hi, Ricardo. Nice talking with you. Hello, everyone. I'm Daniel. I've been working as a developer since I know myself as a person in the last 30 years, to be more exactly. I passed through all kinds of technology evolutions since the introduction of the cell phone and then the internet and now Web3. So I'm passionate about technology and especially about software development. And yeah, I am the founder of Web3 Dev. We created this community because I had the challenge of learning about Web3 technologies, blockchains, smart contracts, all this stuff. And unfortunately, in Brazil, when we started, I didn't find anything that was in. I didn't find any platform where I could go and learn as a developer. And then we created this community to learn together. Actually, I wanted to learn more, and I didn't have anywhere better than like small courses here and there. So the idea of the community was let's learn this stuff together, and this is why we create the community. And here we are today with more than 10,000 people, with a lot of educational content for different blockchains and different technologies. Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, I love the fact that you have built this from your own necessity. And that's something that I kind of resonate with because, look, what we are building today, I kind of compare with what we had in the dot-com years. Everything is so new. We are in the I call it we are in the garages. We are still building the next generation of the internet, and of course, a lot of things that we are building, we are also learning at the same time. It is important as well that at this stage we have more, let's say, builders, actual developers that are able to form new developers and able to construct a new web that will be composed by multiple blockchains. I think that's something that I would like to touch point with you. When you think about networks, we have multiple of them. Yeah, we have Ethereum, we have Solana. I'm not going to put you against the wall and ask you what's your
Yeah.
favorite, but I think it's important that like we have in mind that like at a certain point we will have to deal with different networks and also different languages for programming. So how do you see a network that is like full of cross chains operating with different languages, and how we can ensure that everyone is ready for let's say this interoperable system?
Yeah, I can compare this with the technology world. Actually, if you think about it, you will see that there are different programming languages that serve for the purpose of developing software. So imagine that we have hundreds of programming languages, and every day there's a new programming language. So the same goes for blockchains or implementations of different blockchains, because I think we builders, we are always looking for a better way to do things, a better way to build, to solve problems that we face. And as soon as we find an opportunity to improve something, we go for it. And this is the developer mindset. We always looking for opportunities to solve problems and improve things, and that's why we are always creating new stuff, creating new programming languages, creating new frameworks, new tooling, new libraries, all this stuff. And there are hundreds, thousands of different. If you look at the JavaScript, libraries. You have like hundreds of thousands, maybe millions of different pieces of software that we can put together and they can work together. And of course, you have these niches where some community, some part of the community talks a different language. So if you go to JavaScript, all the JavaScript developers, they talk to each other, but they don't talk too much with, let's say, Rust developers. And then when you have the Rust developers, they talk with each other, but they don't talk with Java developers. But even that, there are some common languages, because when you are developing system, you have to communicate. You create a website, and the website interacts with another website that was created in a different language. So you create protocols or ways of connecting these isolated communities through a common protocol. So I would say that the same goes for blockchains. We are now discovering what are these protocols, what are these communication, these ways to communicate between different islands that are today isolated, but we can definitely think about it and find ways to communicate between them. And it will never be the case that there will be a single blockchain that will win the world, will be only this. It's impossible to happen, because different blockchains solve different problems, have different characteristics, and each blockchain has its own value proposition. The same goes for programming languages. If you are a Python programming, you have your own mindset. If you are an Elixir programmer, you have another mindset. And it's fine, because humans are like this. They have different ways of thinking, way doing stuff, or getting things done. So it's natural, it's acceptable, and this is how things go. So sometimes when you need to communicate, you create these ways of communicating, and this is the moment that we are, because the space is too new. Like blockchains are 10-year-old compared to programming languages or the computer that is maybe 100 years old. Too much, much more than these new technologies. So AI is kind of has 30 years that people are trying to create artificial intelligence, and blockchains are it's a novel concept. So we are still in the beginning of this creation. So that's why there's a lot of pieces missing, and this is exactly what makes me crazy about it, because I love to be in a place where there's so many opportunities to learn, to build, to create, and to interact with people and do things.
Look, I couldn't think of anyone to call here and talk about this if it wasn't a tech person. Look, it's amazing how you put it. Everything that I had in mind, but I would not be able to explain it in, like, let's say, in that depth, because I don't have the developer's mindset. But it's still, I get everything that you say. I believe, like, um, what we are actually doing is creating new forms of cooperation. Like, it's not like what we are doing now, it wasn't existing before. We're just improving. Like you mentioned, we're finding ways to create bridges between languages. But something that you mentioned, and I was thinking about this the other day. When you think about programming languages, we're talking about communities, but we didn't have, let's say, a proper infrastructure that would be able to let those people work together. Now with blockchain, it's like we're creating protocols, and even though they're not operating on the same protocol on the same network, we will create we will create bridges between them. We'll create cross chains, and they will all be uh, cooperating without making the effort. Even if they don't realize, they might be using an infrastructure that is intercommunicating. So I think that's the most important point, like creating like intercommunication between systems and making it as seamless as possible without people realizing. When you
Yeah,
created web,
definitely.
go on.
Yeah, no, I was going to mention that definitely. Actually, we are creating new protocols, but we can't forget that there are so many protocols that already existed and exist for a long time. Like the internet itself is a protocol. So HTTP, TCP, SMTP, all these protocols are communication ways to communicate between systems. For example, you use Gmail. Gmail was developed in Java or whatever language, I don't know, maybe C++. And if you have another another mail app, you can talk to someone that uses Gmail because it's a protocol. It doesn't matter what programming language the software was made. So the same goes for other examples. So the networking, I have a cell phone that has Android, and you have an iPhone, and they can communicate to each other, even if they are different ecosystems, different tooling, different communities of developers. They can talk to each other just because there are bridges already in the Web2 world somehow. And what we are trying to do in Web3 is like to create new bridges for different systems. So there are so many systems that need to talk to each other. So one example is the WASM. So the WASM creation of the possibility of running arbitrary code inside your browser, which is what WASM is something kind of new. And you can write code in, let's say, a very exotic programming language, and this code can run in a browser. In 10 years ago or 15 years ago, you could only run JavaScript on the browser. Now you can use any programming language. But WASM is a protocol, is a way of transforming different languages, translating different languages into something that the browser understands. So the same goes for everything. We are always trying to map languages and systems and create bridges between them. And we'll keep doing this actually forever.
Yeah, I see this as a natural, let's say, evolution path that we're going for thousands of years, and we won't stop. Like I mentioned, is like we will always be looking forward to sophisticate ourselves and create, let's say, better experiences for humankind as a whole and civilization. One thing that I keep like thinking about as well when you think about blockchain, there is one thing that is quite different in comparison to the past, let's say, version of the web. Of course, feel free to correct myself, but like I think it's the very first time that we are bringing value to the protocols, to the network. I mean, when I talk about value, I'm talking about money. So we started with Bitcoin, with Internet of Money, Ethereum. On my own thinking, I don't even see it as an Internet of Money. I see it as Internet of Value, meaning that you will be able to tokenize your time, your efforts. So we'll be able to deal with the internet in a different way that it was before. So how do you see this?
Yeah, definitely. Blockchains, the existence of blockchain, and starting with Bitcoin and then Ethereum later, is the instantiation of the possibility of digitalizing assets, digitalizing money, digitalizing existence, identities. And these are the problems that we are trying to solve. So we still don't know how to use this powerful technology. This is the truth. We have a lot of technology, but we still don't know what to do with that. Imagine that you create like a super powerful machine, but you don't know how to operate it, know what this machine, how it works, and what is the capability of this machine. So this is what we are living right now. We are in a process of discovering. We are discovering things. So there's a lot of things that go very wrong. We do very badly stuff, like create tokens that go to zero. We create things that don't scale, create things that people don't like. And it's a very experimental environment where you are always trying to find ways to do things based on this technology. Sometimes using the technology to solve an existing problem, but sometimes it doesn't solve. We see many examples of trials of creating something using blockchains that did not succeed. But this is the natural path. The same went when we had the tech bubble, the web bubble in the dot-com bubble in the 2000s. You had this technology, which was the internet. So some people compare the creation of the internet with the creation of the blockchain technologies. They can sometimes you can even see some timelines and the evolution of the internet and how many users adopted the internet with the adoption and evolution of blockchains. So we are in the same path. When people started to realize that they could do, imagine 20 years ago in 2000, you didn't know that it was possible to create something like Facebook, something like Google, something like Gmail. The technology was there, but still people didn't realize how much powerful this technology could be. So it took a long time of developers and builders and entrepreneurs and investors and all these players to get together, to have ideas, to try them and to fail a lot of them, to build things that glued and build things that were completely wiped out of the map to the moment that we are right now. And the same goes for blockchain. So we are like living we are living again this flourishness, like this moment where we have a new technology with a lot of possibilities, but we don't know yet what is possible. And we are trying. Some of them are being successful, most of them are failing, but this is how it works. In 20 years, you'll surely be using the blockchains the same way you use the internet, without thinking about it, without thinking, oh, I'm using the internet. You just don't think about it. You just use it because it's useful for your life. You make orders in Uber Eats. You get a driver. You buy stuff. You go to banking. You do a lot of stuff using your smart. You play games, and this will happen again. And world will be completely different than we see today in like 10 to 20 years. But we need to keep building. So this is this is what I'm passionate about. Like I'm in the right place, in the right moment, just doing what I love, and seeing the world being created in front of my eyes.
Wow, I just had a mind-blowing moment thinking about everything that we went through these last years with blockchain, and also cross-relating with the advent of an internet. I was only 6 when I had my first internet connection. It was dial-up. It was so funny. Like, it was a specific sound that it made when it was connecting. And I remember, well, like, we went through a lot in terms of creating better system. That's what I would like to focus on. Like when we talk about blockchain, it's just simply a better system that we are actually able to track and register everything that we're doing, even if we're failing. One thing that I like to emphasize, we will be able to see everything that we did in blockchain these years. With AI, we will be able to process like mass data. So even if we fail, AI can assist us to get to know, oh, look, we did this already. Here, we have a public ledger that indicates that this experiment didn't work. So we can do different stuff. So I think that's the different part that we're doing in regards to the past. Now we are tracking what we do. Everything that we did and failed is there. You can check the blockchain tokens that have failed. When we talk about tokens, mostly we're talking about, my understanding, we are talking about like let's say stock shares from startup companies built on top of the blockchain. So all of that can be checked in the future. And of course, with the help with AI, it'll be very easy for us to, know what can we do differently. Because at the end of the day, as you mentioned, there's a lot of rapid experimentation, and the sandboxes model as well, very asynchronous, decentralized. I think that's the beauty of it. Like, we're not getting stuck. We are trying a lot of stuff. Capital is flowing in, money is coming in, people are getting rewarded, so they are working. Honestly, I think we will progress so fast that we won't even notice. Like, I know for a fact blockchain will be implemented, without people even realizing. I don't want to talk about this, but I noticed there was a company, a big one, a social media one, that was experimenting with blockchain and didn't tell anyone. I think that's going to happen a lot. They will introduce blockchain like very quietly, and you'll be using like I don't know, just a fintech app without even realizing. So I think that's probably the future. Now, Danny,
Yeah, I think I
go on.
think yes and no, because let's put this way. I think people don't need the ordinary user don't need to know that this person is using the blockchain, doesn't need to know that is using, but there are some uh, key components of Web3 that people will definitely need to be aware, because there are some very fundamental stuff that change the way we interact between each other. So, for example, when you change custody from a third party to the person, of course, this person doesn't need to understand about blockchain, but this person needs to understand that maybe having self custody of some of the person's stuff is a good thing. And this is a change. This is a change in mindset, because the technology itself, the person doesn't need to know, but the technology brings with some behavior changing. So the same when we got the internet, when internet arrived, you did things in a way, but since you have some new technology to do things, you will change your habits, you change your way of living, because this new technology allows you to do it differently. So there's a long path for people to learn this new way of living, live in a world without banks, live in a world without a centralized authority for money, living in a world without a centralized authority for identity, living in a world where you can interact and you can transact with anyone globally with actually zero cost. This is so profoundly different than what we had until like 10 years ago, and people are still learning these new possibilities. So they are not aware of how much power they have in their hands, but they are not using because they are too afraid, or they are not aware of it, and they don't know why this is important for them. So there's, for different reasons, people are still the same way. Like if you ask 20 years ago, if you ask for someone, do you take for example, let's say someone that reads the new, go every day to the magazine store and buys a newspaper in a like old-fashioned paper stuff, and this person reads the full paper and then throws away after 10 days all this paper, printed paper. And then you ask this person, wouldn't it be nice if you could like read it, on a tablet, or read it on the palm of your hands without buying the paper or going there? And this person didn't have the reality that this would be possible. So probably it will say, no, I'm fine. I like to go there and talk with people or whatever. So these habits, it's very hard to change, but it's impossible to stay the way it is, because things change, the technology evolves, and some people don't change, but these people that don't change, probably they will die, and then the newcomers will use the new technology. Because you mentioned that you were born, you were 6 when you listened to the modem buzzy for the first time, and but there are some people that are 10-year-old or maybe 15-year-old. When they were born, the internet was already a reality. So the high-speed internet was a reality for these people. So they don't think about it. They just use it, and it's pretty natural. And they don't even consider the possibility of doing some stuff in the old-fashioned way. So they already have the habit of using this new technology. And the same goes will be for blockchains. New people will come, they will start to use like wallets or whatever software you have for blockchains, and they will not be comfortable in using like banks or apps or whatever is old fashioned. because they know the advantages of using this new technology. So when time passes, like 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, what remains is the best technology, is the best product, things that people find more interesting for them. And definitely this will happen with all the blockchain stuff that we are building right now.
I love the fact that you touch point on that specifically, because with technology also comes the cultural aspect of adoption. People will change for sure. They will have to get used to a different way to socialize as well. Now we see even the internet as we know. I just got the Starlink satellite, and internet is so quick, and also it's like you don't need any cables. You can be anywhere. You can be in the beach and have access to the internet. So we're moving fast, not only in one thing as well. We are moving fast in different industries. So I think, like, the most important thing, and that's probably what I want to focus now, preparing people for the change that are coming, and those ones that will be ready for it for us will seize more opportunities. So I think in Web3 dev, as you mentioned, you're not only forming developers, but you also provide them the most basic introduction so they understand everything that is going on. Is that true?
Yeah, and I would say that I think so. Some people say that, oh, we won't need developers in future because AI will build everything, and probably we don't need we in a couple of years we won't need so many developers. And I think this won't this won't happen this won't happen at all, because I use AI every day as a developer to make my own work more powerful, to be more productive, to make things better, to make things faster, to make things more correct in a correct way. So AI will always be here, and we will improve and will be better over and over again for us to use. But yet there's something that AI can't replace, which is the human will of doing things. So people like to act and change things. The AI doesn't have will, doesn't have this will of making things. It's just a tool that is there, very powerful, very smart, very, very interesting. Every moment, each day, better and better. But yet, there should be someone with the simple will of changing something, because the AI doesn't want anything. The AI doesn't have will. So it's kind of a dead soul that knows everything, but don't know what to do with everything that knows. And we don't know everything, but we have a lot of will. We want to do a lot of stuff. We are very curious. We are very excited about doing things and making things and being like active and being happy. So the community, we created the community because we really believe that learning is a social experience. If you want to learn something, you will probably learn much more and much faster if you are working and learning together with other people, because we want to interact with people. And this is how we learn from the day we are born. Like, we are born and then we start observing other people, how they work, how they do things, and this is how we learn, by watching, by interacting, by doing and failing. And Web3 Dev was the amalgamation of this desire of learning together. And today we just launched a new Rust course that is available for anyone, even if you are not a full, very experienced developer. If you know very basic stuff, you can go through this journey. So we try to create learning journeys that are accessible for different levels of expertise in terms of development. If you can be like a 1-year-old experienced developer, or you can be a 20-year-old experienced developer. Both can have a lot of benefits of doing our courses, because they are instructive and they are self-paced, they are project-based. So you are not just reading a lot of content, you are not just watching videos, you are doing something, you are building something. And as you build, you are interacting with other community members, you are asking questions, you are answering other people's questions, and this is how you evolve in the in your as a professional. And I think this profession will be here for a long time. And actually, I would say, and a lot of people say something new, that blockchain is very important in the AI world. In the AI future, blockchain is very important, because blockchain is the counterbalance that you can put to avoid the AI domination. Like, for example, people are creating more images in using AI than there are images created by humans. Like, if you search Google now, you will search for anything, and most of the images that will appear will be AI generated. Maybe in a couple of years, you won't see any more like human created images, just because it's dominating. How can you identify? How can you prove that this was something done by a human being? How can you differentiate between something that is originally human, that's something that is intrinsically created by a machine? And this will be the role of blockchains, to try to guarantee for people these identities, these human identities, in a sea of different creations and different content being pushed on your face. You have toolings to realize and to recognize when you are talking with a human and when you are talking to something that was created by artificial intelligence. So blockchain is very important.
You see, I agree 100% with everything that you said, and specifically to the point that I believe developers will be here forever. More than that, I believe everyone will turn to developer, not only like in a programming sense, but at least like in traditional sense, but everyone will have to learn how to operate with the tools to create realities. Well, we're heading to the end of the podcast. We only have 6 minutes left. I don't want to waste so much time talking, but I want to ask you your vision for the future. I believe in the programmable self and the future of like citizens becoming programmers. Everyone is able to, program a part of the internet and be able to express themselves through coding as well. So we have only 5 minutes left, but I'd like to hear from you your vision for the future for developers on this new phase of the internet.
I think I don't think, in my opinion, is that I don't think be more people building than we have today in terms of like the proportion of the society. So imagine that, let's say 50 years ago or 100 years ago, when humans discovered how to build houses in a better way. Oh, now we're going to have many more house engineers, because now we can build houses faster and better and so on. And the reality is that people are so diverse, and they have different mindsets and different preferences. So some people like technology, some people like programming or engineering, because engineers are like people, generically speaking, people that like to solve problems and create, let's say, automated ways or ways to use toolings to solve problems. So these are engineers. Doesn't matter if you're a computer engineer or if you are a chemical engineer, you're always looking for opportunities to solve problems in your domain. But still, you still have a lot of different other professions, like let's say physicians. They solve problems also. They solve health problems. And then you have like biologists. They solve like environment problems. So I would say that all these people and all these different professions that exist will keep existing, and people will have like preferences, and some of them will keep coming to the, let's say, the engineering, computer engineering world, but most of them will keep doing other stuff like whatever. So I don't see in the future that every human being will be able to build its own like Facebook or its own app to do stuff. People have to, like, today my grandma uses like an app on her phone. Yeah, definitely. It's that she has access today that nobody had 20 years ago, but that's it. But her main activity remains the same. She won't. Nobody will change its preference because there's a new tool to use, and I think technology will be like this. Tools will be easier to use, better to use, but still some people won't like to use at all because they are worried about other stuff, and some people will keep using more and more and like building new tools, and this is how the world will keep evolving, and it's fine. I don't see this as a problem.
This was one of the most amazing conversations I had, specifically because you're, um, let's say, a subject matter expert on tech. So it was quite a comprehensive and also and structured podcast episode. Danny, it was a pleasure to have you with us today. We only have 2 minutes left, but I would like to leave you a small room for you to pitch your own social medias as well, where people can find you, engage with you, so they can learn about what you're building. So I know you're on LinkedIn. What is your most active social medias?
Yeah, I'm trying to be active on Twitter and LinkedIn. I would say that in the last months, I'm a little bit less active in social media than I used to be. But my Twitter is Dani Cuki, DANICUKI. You can follow me there. You can reach me out you can search my name on LinkedIn as well. And yeah, I'm always present in the Web3 Dev Discord also. And currently, I am building Jam, which is maybe topic for another episode, which is a new concept of blockchains. So this is what I'm writing a lot of code every day, working with other developers to build a new blockchain, even a new one. Uh, so you can reach me also on different social medias like Instagram, but I think Twitter is the still it is getting worse and worse, but I'm still there until there's a moment that there's something better. Yeah.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Danny. Guys, I think this is it for today. Thank you for your audience. I'll see you on next week. Bye.